this chain of transmission is called the Isnad. This is the chain of transmission. And you must have heard the Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim are the most authentic books of hadith available. And these books of hadith contain the sayings, the actions, the manners, the mannerisms, the morals, the conduct, the speech, everything Rasulullah ﷺ approved of and disapproved of. And his appearance is all part of the sunnah of Islam, the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ, what we have to follow, what we should follow. Because he is the most perfect example for Islam. Brothers and sisters, this is living in Islam. This is about living the life of a Muslim. This is the beauty of Islam. That we know from the example given to us by Rasulullah ﷺ how Islam has to be lived. How we can act, whether it's with our relatives, our kin, family, friends, our neighbors, even our enemies, even the people who dislike us, we know how to act with them. And the way to act is with mercy, with love, with humility. This is the aspect of Islam which is the most neglected today. Today, many of the modern day reformists and modern day scholars, so-called scholars, have ignored the sunnah and the tariqah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because they focus on the academics of everything. They want you to learn Islam by reading a book and by knowing. Islam is about practicing, brothers and sisters. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hadith has been transmitted, and this is also down to the divine will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no prophet, no person ever created whose way of life has been preserved the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life has been preserved for us. Nobody, no prophet. And there's a reason for this, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran Pak, obey Allah and obey my messenger. Take what the messenger gives you and refrain from what he has forbidden for you. This is only possible if we know what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is giving us. It's logical. We have to understand this. This is about the truth of Islam. The beauty of Islam is lived through the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why the companions, the blessed companions, the Sahaba, Riziyat al-Anhu, they learnt Islam through seeing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is how they learnt Islam. This is how they understood Islam. Because, brothers and sisters, Islam is not captured simply in words and in books. Islam is felt with the heart. That's where Islam has come from. That's where Islam lives. It's in the heart. Do you love Islam, brothers and sisters? Do you love your way of life? Are you passionate about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kalam? Are you passionate about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life and sunnah? This is Islam, brothers and sisters. This is the questions you have to ask yourselves. That's the passion. We have to be passionate. You see many great scholars today, and when they talk about Islam, they change. From being very humble and very quiet people, they become emotional and they become teary-eyed, they start to cry even. This is the reason, because they're emotional, they're passionate about Islam. Where's the passion today, brothers and sisters? Have we got the passion today? It comes from the heart. This is where Islam has been felt. This is where Islam is, brothers and sisters. Yes, we understand. We have to understand something. There is a form of logic involved, because understanding is important for accepting. But we have to love Islam. And with our hearts, we accept Islam, ultimately with our hearts. Because we cannot understand everything. brothers and sisters. When we put everything down to logic and academics and intellect, we can get misguided, because the truth is that the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far above our wisdom. Far above our wisdom. Our wisdom is not even comparison to wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are matters of Sharia today, matters of Islamic law, which scholars who have been studying Islam for 50, 60 years today are still unsure about, are still studying and doing research about. Because they don't have, even with knowledge that they've collected and they've accumulated over the whole life, they still are unsure about certain matters. Because Islam is an ocean of knowledge, an ocean of wisdom and hikmat. And one lifetime of our lifetime is not enough to understand that wisdom. This is why the hadith, the sayings and the manner and the conduct and example of Rasulullah is used. But even then, there's many books of hadith. There are thousands of hadith which have been transmitted, which need to be understood. Therefore, there is so much to take in, brothers and sisters. There's so much to understand, but we as believers just accept and we believe. We believe what we know, and we even believe what we don't know, because if it's correct, we believe in it. The Sharia and the wisdom of Islam is not reliant upon our understanding or our logic, because we do not have the wisdom to understand Islam completely. But we accept and we believe in Islam. We are humble. We have faith that Islam, whatever we know, whatever we believe, whatever we're told, whatever we're taught, is the belief of Islam. As long as it comes from reliable sources and reliable people, we believe. So don't search for Islam in books so much and in words, because Islam has to be felt. That's when we understand Islam, truly. And we accept Islam. And that's reflection, brothers and sisters. We have to reflect upon the deen of Islam. And once we reflect, we will search for the truth. And when you search for the truth, when you find the truth and your heart is content with the truth, accept and believe and follow. That's the truth of Islam, brothers and sisters. That's what you have to understand. Living in Islam is the beauty, is beautiful. That's the way to attain true faith. When your affairs become the affairs of your deen. That's the way you can change your lives completely. That's the way when you go into a transition and you accept and you become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When your affairs are the affairs of your deen. When you understand Islam and you accept Islam and your Islam becomes your life. Because it's very easy for us today. We're living in different countries. We're living in, whether it's Western culture, Indian culture, or some other kind of culture. We're living in different cultures today. So it's very easy for us to give precedent over that culture. And we just think Islam is just about praying 5 times a day, fasting in Ramadan. Which it is, but it's more than that. That's only part of Islam. But then sisters, Islam has its own culture. Islam has its own culture, which is the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And that's why we have to be careful about adopting cultures over our own deen. Because it's very easily done today. It's very easily done.